okay?
Yeah.
This is where we live. And what's that?
The fence.
What's inside?
People.
What's outside?
Monsters.
By the time the sun comes up tomorrow, there's a very good chance you'll be dead.
You're gonna lose.
Don't you know what he did? You swore.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. HBO just dropped a brand new Last of Us Season 2 trailer, so we'll break it all down. They're getting ready to drop episodes in the next month, and I will be doing videos week to week, just like I did for Season 1. So if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get everything. This season of the show will be sponsored by Titleist, but we'll see if they change any stuff from the games in the way that all shows tend to change stuff from their adaptations. There's a whole lot going on during this footage, so we'll just start at the beginning of the trailer and work our way through shot by shot, talking about Easter eggs from the games and WTF moments. And just like they did during Season 1, they're adding a bunch of material in Season 2 that wasn't in the original game, stuff that was just hinted at. For instance, Joe Pantoliano is playing a character called Eugene, who's hinted at in the games, who you just learn about briefly. And it sounds like we're going to be getting a bunch of flashbacks for him that were not featured in the game, the same way that we did with Bill and Frank during Season 1.
And this is not an Arby's.
Well, Arby's didn't have free lunch. It was a restaurant.
Also, the fact that they've changed a lot of the pacing of the original game story during these different periods they'll be covering during the seasons, and they want the show to run for 3 seasons. I don't know about beyond that. But the way that Neil Druckmann and Naughty Dog have talked about it when people ask them about Last of Us 3 game is that they don't plan on making it. I don't know if that's meant to be a misdirect on their part, but that's another reason why the HBO people are expanding on the already story they have from Last of Us 2. One of the best examples of that in a lot of the previous trailers has been all the scenes with Joel and his therapist played by Catherine O'Hara, just expanding on a whole bunch of material that you didn't see in the games. They start the trailer with Ellie in a building looking for supplies. In the background, you can actually see what looks like either a stalker or a clicker just crawling by, getting ready to try and get the jump on her. Then we see Joel's broken watch again, very iconic, back from Season 1. They did say they're starting Season 2 with a time jump of 5 years since the end of Season 1, so a lot has changed between them, but that's also true of the game too. Like Joel and Ellie's relationship changes quite a bit at the beginning of the second game. Zoom and enhance, these are meant to be the crosses of the Fireflies who died with their tags. Obviously a callback to Joel killing all those Fireflies at Washington, the hospital, when he saved Ellie at the end of Season 1. It informs most of the action, like most of the drama of what's happening during Season 2 in this part of the game. Ellie and Joel looking like they're about to see the dinosaur from the game. This is another shot of Jackson after 5 years, the town bustling with people, like just life continues. Notice there's snow on the ground because they're about to get that giant blizzard and the giant attack from the Horde, which is also a huge moment early in the game. There's a whole bunch of scenes of that blizzard and the Horde attacking later in the trailer. They break up into like a couple different parts of the actual trailer. You could definitely tell they dumped a whole lot of the budget on that whole attack just because people in Season 1 were complaining so much about there not being enough infected based on the games. You wanted more infected? Fine, we'll give you the Horde. We get a brief scene of Joel talking with Tommy's son Benjamin in his lap, meaning to give you vibes of him with his daughter when she was younger. Still a lot of dad energy coming from Joel. Him teaching her how to play guitar just like in the game early on. He promised her during Season 1. But the funny thing is that Bella Ramsey said that when they were actually filming these scenes on set, she's the one who taught Pedro Pascal behind the scenes how to play because he didn't know how to play, but she did. But in the game, it's Joel who teaches Ellie how to play and teaches her a couple of songs. You get a lot of her playing those songs later in the game. This is the scene of the party from the very beginning of the season, the beginning of the second game. This is her with Dina, played by Isabella Merced, who becomes her girlfriend early on and also has the relationship with Jesse.
Dina can take south and you come from the east, but be smart about it, yeah?
A lot of you remember that Isabella Merced is also playing Hawkgirl in James Gunn's new DCU during the new Superman movie, probably going to wind up eventually being on the next version of the Justice League that James Gunn winds up creating too. There's a short scene of a stalker coming for them in the barn here. Then this is a scene of the Seraphites from the game, also called the Scars. They're a group of religious zealots that are another antagonistic group during this part of the season in the game. They're currently in a fight with the WLF for control of Seattle up in Washington. In the trailer, it kind of looks like Ellie gets caught by them on the way to the hospital. Abby also winds up getting strung up by them too, like you see with this person. We get more shots of the WLF around Seattle. The Washington Liberation Front are a paramilitary organization who serve as antagonists during the season in this part of the game. They go to war, like I said, with the Seraphites for control of the city. There's a group of WLF soldiers with Abby that wind up tracking down Joel in Jackson for killing Abby's father, their doctor, at the hospital in the season 1 finale when he rescued Ellie, and killed a bunch of the WLF members while he was doing that at the hospital. So a bunch of them come to Jackson looking for revenge on Joel, where they get caught in this giant blizzard in the middle of the horde attacking. Eventually, when that group returns to Washington, their war with the Seraphites begins heating up even more. Haven't talked too much about Abby just in general, but you can see in the trailer she's played by Caitlin Dever. You probably recognize her from something. She's been on a whole bunch of stuff. Fantastic actress, but just like Bella Ramsey, looks nothing like the video game version of her character. So no surprise that HBO just cast someone that they knew would be a great actress, even though she didn't look like video game Abby. They did say there are a lot of aspects of Abby's character in the game that they're not going to get into or deal with on the TV show. They're mostly just dealing with the revenge aspect. The leader of the WLF is Isaac, who's played by Jeffrey Wright. We see him later in the trailers speaking a little bit too. The cool thing, if you're a big fan of the game, is that you recognize that he also played Isaac in the game. So it's another example like they did during season 1 with some of the characters where the voice actor just comes back to play the character in live action. Jeffrey Wright has been on a ton of HBO series though, so like he's real big with HBO, so of course they're going to bring him back in live action. We see a stalker amidst the large horde attacking Jackson, which is also a big moment in the game. This basically coincides with Abby also having made it to Jackson with the WLF Revenge Squad. She winds up almost being caught by the infected during the snowstorm. You can see the craziness going on later in the trailer here with Joel running around in the blizzard.
Guns. It's a lot of people.
During her big chase, when the infected almost have her dead to rights, Joel winds up saving her without knowing who she is or why she's here. He just winds up saving a random person for all he knows, which obviously winds up being ironic. Good deeds never go unpunished. We will not dig too deeply into that moment just because of spoilers. If you have played through the game, please don't post those spoilers on this trailer just because it sounds like it's going to happen pretty early on in the season, but we'll see how they break up the timeline. I think they want to keep Pedro Pascal around for as long as possible, so the timeline of the games might be a little bit wonky with the way they present stuff on the show. This is Ellie and Dina traveling to Washington later in the season. Another member of the Seraphites, this is their symbol on his back, and them running through the woods at night with the torches. This is Dina back in the hospital up in Washington. Ellie and young Mazino, who's played by Jesse here from the game, winds up being on the patrol mission with Ellie, also has the on-again, off-again relationship with Dina. They wind up in something of a love triangle situation going on with Ellie because of Dina and Ellie. We see them peeping the spaceship in the museum, another scene copied directly from the game. A lot of scenes like that during Season 1 and Season 2 now too. This seems like more of Joel teaching Ellie how to play guitar early on at their house at the beginning of the second game, looking at her tattoo here too. Ellie back in that hospital. We get a little voiceover from Isaac, like I said, and Ellie seeing the person infected amidst the spores. That was a big complaint during Season 1, like, where are the spores? So the whole idea is there are spores everywhere in the world of The Last of Us. Very, very dangerous. They have to wear gas masks everywhere they go, just in case they might run into spores. The reason they said they cut those from Season 1 is it said practically it just became an issue. They didn't want to have people wearing gas masks every time they walked into like a brand new mystery room or a place they'd never been before. But enough fans made a stink about it while they were watching Season 1 episodes, and they said, we'll bring it back for Season 2. So spores are just back in general. more scenes of the infected horde attacking the city at the beginning of the second game. This scene in the red light is Ellie finding Nora, doing a similar scene from the game. She's one of Abby's allies and part of that WLF revenge squad that came to Jackson to get revenge on Joel, and then she winds up going back to the hospital. So this is Ellie having her dead to rights. So Ellie also kind of seeks revenge against her as well too, but really she's after Abby. Like, Abby is the main antagonist to her.
Because I can make it quick.
There's a whole bunch more scenes from the Horde's attack during the blizzard. Then we get more scenes of the Seraphites around the fire. Tommy using the flamethrower on the bloater during that big blizzard attack. Then they end the trailer with Ellie learning about Joel's lie from the end of Season 1 when he saved her in Washington, which is a huge moment in the game, creates a much bigger rift between them early on. We will see how they play with the timeline of when she learns about that going on. But there's a bunch of stuff going on here. If there's any Easter eggs from this trailer that I didn't talk about in the video that you spotted, just write them below in the comments. There have been a couple trailers. I didn't do videos for the previous ones, but I will be doing videos for the episodes week to week, just like I did during Season 1. Make sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss any of that. We might get a couple more clips, a couple more trailers before the season actually drops, because we are getting pretty close. The other really big thing that's coming up is going to be Game of Thrones Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We'll be getting those episodes later this year, so we'll probably get a trailer for that of some kind during the Last of Us episodes when those are airing. I've already done a couple videos for that, so I'll link them down in the description below. The other big reminder is that we're in the middle of Daredevil Born Again episodes. Click here for my Episode 3 video, and click here for my Daredevil Episode 1 and Episode 2 video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.